Good day everyone, I am Alan Enriquez and I am the host for today's symposium, which is entitled E-Learning, a substitute for classroom learning. So we are expected to answer that at the end of this symposium. So first, let me please introduce to you our first speaker with her topic E-Learning or Virtual Learning. Please welcome Ms. Ronilyn Soliva.
E-learning or virtual learning is a substitute for classroom learning, but it is not that much effective because students are more active and responsive in classes. Most of the students can afford for the gadgets such as smartphones, laptops, which are basic requirements of e-learning. E-learning also lacks the physical exercises which is necessary for the students. Combination of e-learning and classroom learning can be used. However, classroom learning is more better.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ms. Soliva, and now I'm going to introduce to you our next speaker, which is Ms. Hazel Timanding with her topic Classroom Learning.
Classroom learning does not provide us only knowledge, but also help us to develop our personality and leadership skills. We had already seen that in the classroom, every student was divided in some groups, and this group was led by some of the students among us, which helped them to develop leadership skills and situation handling skills. Classroom learning also help us to develop thinking skills. Suppose there is a doubt regarding any subject arises in a student. If he will in online learning, he has only the two options to ask with our teacher, who will be give straightforward answer. But if he will in a classroom, he can ask if with different student who will give its own opinion about this, which help in the development of thinking.
Now we are down to our third speaker, which is Mr. Francis Emmanuel Tion with his topic E-Learning Purposes and Role.
Good day everyone, and I am Francis Emmanuel Teon, and I will going to discuss the topic e-learning purposes and role. During the pandemic, major findings revealed a number of benefits of learning such as easy access to online material, ability to record meetings and sessions, and retrieve information. May I ask you what is the major goal of e-learning? It enhances the quality of learning and teaching. E-learning revolutionized education by making learning more accessible, flexible, and inclusive. On the other side, the bitter side of this platform is that nowadays internet becomes a necessity for our daily lives, and many students of young age get addicted to this and misuse it. Every day I see boys and girls playing online games on their cell phones. There's nothing wrong with that, but as your time sacrifice and you have no time for study as you are a student, you lose the essence or the main goal of technology, and you misuse it. During the pandemic, our class method changed into online platform, and it is very challenging, especially to me, because we're living in a place far from civilization. What I mean is, we're living in a place that has no internet. That time was very memorable for me because able to attend class, I go to the place where has internet with a distance around maybe 5 to 6 kilometers maybe. Students from poor and rural backgrounds who don't have proper connectivity, and those family doesn't have a stability to buy such gadget that benefit from this, and their academic got spoiled. E-learning is poised to reshape the future of education, providing a dynamic and engaging learning environment for learners nationwide. And that's all for my topic, and thank you for listening.
And now we are down to our third speaker, which is Mr. Francis Emmanuel Tion with his topic, e-learning purposes and role. Now, please welcome our next speaker, which is Ms. Mariflor Soriano with her topic, online learning and flexibility.
Hello everyone, my name is Marflor Isuliano and my topic today is about e-learning or online learning. We all know that e-learning has become increasingly popular in recent years, especially with advancement of technology and internet connectivity. While it offers numerous benefits, it has proven to be an efficient educational tool. And I have some point here to consider, ladies and gentlemen. This one point is flexibility. We all know that one of the primary advantages of e-learning is its flexibility. Learners can access course materials and participate in discussion at their own pace and convenience. We all know that when students are flexible enough to do things so, they are eager to learn, they are eager to participate in discussion in any aspect of life. That would be all, and I thank you.
And now our last speaker for today, which is Ms. Bia Romblon for her topic, advantages and disadvantages of online education.
Online education is proving to be very effective in the time of coronavirus because at this time the pandemic has severely affected the education and educational system across the world. All educational institutions were closed. So these are the advantages of online education. Online education is that it allows students to attend classes from any location of their choice. Online education offers teachers an effective way to deliver lessons to students. And these are the disadvantages of online education. For many students, one of the biggest challenges of online learning is the struggle with focusing on the screen for a long time period. Another key challenge of online classes is internet connection. Without a consistent internet connection for students or teachers, there can be a lack of continuity in learning for students. One of the major disadvantages of online education is it can be the lack of physical interaction, which can make it more challenging for the students. The lack of in-person interaction in online courses can lead to sense of isolation, disconnectedness from a learning community, and it can make it more difficult for students to engage with and learn. And lastly, the disadvantages of online education is that the lack of practical learning.
So thank you so much for our different speakers who shares their knowledge about the different specific topics which is connected to our main topic, if e-learning were going to be a substitute for a classroom learning. So by hearing those topics, we understand that online education or e-learning contributes a lot of positive or good effects on our education as students, especially in times of a pandemic which is originally implemented. So we understand that through e-learning, it gives us more convenience to learn because it could have us learning wherever we are, even if we are in our respective homes or we are in our respective places, we can still have an access to education. We can still learn through just one click. You can learn a lot of tutorials, especially in the subjects that we are not so masters about, like for example mathematics. Through watching a lot of tutorials on YouTube or on Google, it could help us master that skills on how to solve that specific formulas and to solve that equations. However, even if there's that positive impact, you can't also deny that it has a negative impacts on us as students. It develops laziness to us, which can lead to a lot of disease, physical disease, and not to mention that a lot of students who are misusing this online learning or these gadgets, that they tend to be dependent on this and didn't critically think on their own. And it is one of the bad side or downside of the e-learning. And it is not, we cannot say that it's very accessible, because we have the certain places like the rural places which don't have connectivity as we have here in urban places. So it means that they will be behind and cannot access education as much as we do. So it is a downside for them, and we cannot let that happen because they have their right to access educations, even if they are in that kind of places. So, because we cannot deny that even if e-learning is good, classroom learning is really a first standard on learning, because aside that we can learn academically, we can also enhance our skills in socializing with other people, with peers, with our co-students. Also, we can enhance our leadership skills and our follower skills. It gives us the opportunity to lead with a certain amount of students or with our classmates, and it is one of the positive side. And aside from that, we interact with our classmates personally, and it is such an enjoy and healthy kinds of socializing. So to answer that question, if e-learning will going to be a substitute, yes, it can, but it can never replace. It can just be a substitute, especially in times of like pandemic, which we are really hindered to go with our specific classrooms or schools. So that's the time that we're going to use the e-learning. But especially today that everything is slowly going back to normal, then we could have our classroom learning back. And we can still have e-learning when we are out of classrooms, but it is very important for us to really still practice the classroom learning, because it is one of the most healthy way of learning.